I met the Petersons on a really cold morning in December. I was called to have a look at their boiler. They'd been having some problems with their heating cutting out.
I'd known the Petersons for about a year. I lived right next door. Kathy, a single mum with a 2-year-old son, and Mr. Peterson, her elderly father. Mr. Peterson had deteriorated quite a bit even in the year that they'd been living there.
I was in the Petersons' kitchen taking a look at their boiler. That's when I saw him.
It was a Sunday afternoon. I was in my back garden, unpegging clothes from the washing line. That's when I heard the shouting.
The little boy, he was standing there in the doorway looking at me. He looked so scrawny, his face was gaunt and pale, and his arms and legs were stick thin. He had a nappy on, which looked like it hadn't been changed for quite a while, and the smell was pretty overpowering.
It was Kathy. She was shouting at her dad, shouting so loud I could hear every word. Kathy was getting angrier and angrier. I'd never heard her that angry before.
I wondered if it was just naturally skinny. I mean, I was tiny when I was his age apparently. I asked him if he was alright and he replied with just one word, hungry.
I was just heading back indoors, then I heard her.
After I fixed the boiler, I asked Mrs. Peterson if everything was okay. She said everything was fine. I left. I'd done all I could.
I toyed with the idea of going to see if everything was all right, but I just thought maybe it's none of my business. I didn't want to cause any friction between us. My mum rang and I ended up on the phone for ages.
A few days later, I was working another job on the next road to where the Petersons lived when I saw an ambulance and police car go past.
I went to the window. An ambulance and a police car pulled up outside the Petersons.
It wasn't until the next day that I found out what had happened. A single mum has been arrested on suspicion of neglect regarding her 2-year-old son, who was rushed to hospital with severe malnutrition and is currently in a critical condition.
She's also been charged with abuse relating to her elderly father, after ambulance crews tending to her son noticed cuts and severe bruises on her father's face.
The police spokesman said that it's one of the worst recent cases they've seen and that the woman was currently being held in custody. I didn't think it was any of my business. You can't just go around accusing parents of neglect, can you?
What if I'd misunderstood what I heard? Surely it's not my place to accuse a woman of abusing her father.
What would you have done?